Prepare to warp into the depths of Star Trek lore as we embark on an intergalactic journey to uncover everything that we know about Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. This film, currently in the works at Paramount Pictures, is set to be the 14th installment in the iconic Star Trek franchise and the fourth of the captivating reboot series. But the road to this cinematic voyage has been anything but smooth, with twists, turns, and unexpected developments. So stick with us until the end of this video as we unravel the behind-the-scenes saga, exploring the various iterations, the involvement of acclaimed directors like Quentin Tarantino, and the unexpected twists that have shaped the course of this interstellar adventure. So what is happening with Star Trek IV? Well, you won't believe the latest on the next Star Trek movie, so keep watching to find out if the cast is returning and when we might see the Enterprise back on the big screen. As of September 2023, writer Lindsay Beer assured fans that Star Trek IV is still on the tracks. Then Variety reported that Paramount hopes to fast-track scripts for a Star Trek reboot. Does this mean that Chris Pine and the cast won't return after all? Well, you'll be surprised to find out not even that Chris Pine knows. Saying, "Not that I know of," Pine admitted about sequel plans in November of 2023. Paramount previously announced the fourth movie back in 2022 with J.J. Abrams producing and Matt Shakman directing. Much to the cast's shock, but Shakman left to go direct Fantastic Four, and Paramount removed the release date. However, Abrams shared they now have a story that feels as compelling as the first one, though Chris Pine also called the franchise cursed, so who knows? Now, while we don't know when the Enterprise will return to theaters, we have got all of the latest details for you right here. Stay tuned as you don't want to miss any exciting things that we have for you. The long and winding road to Star Trek IV. So you won't believe the twists and turns on the way to getting another Star Trek sequel. This journey's been longer than a trip to the Delta Quadrant. But keep watching because we've got everything you need to know about the upcoming fourth film. Back in 2015, Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto excited Trekkies everywhere by signing up for Star Trek IV. But then contract disputes derailed the stars from boldly going where no man has gone before. The project seemed dead in the water in 2018 when Pine and Chris Hemsworth both departed. However, in 2019, Star Trek IV was back on, earning a release date before getting shelved again. Now, you'd think it was a minefield out there, but we've got good news. Star Trek IV still has signs of life. Former director Matt Shakman shared that the creative team is still plugging away at the version that he worked on. And Zachary Quinto himself said that while the film's future is complicated, he is open to suiting back up as Spock if the opportunity arises. Most promisingly, a report emerged in September that Paramount was polishing a new draft of the script. Writer Lindsay Beer also confirmed that Star Trek IV is still on the track, so even though it's been a longer wait than a replicator to produce Earl Grey tea beaming aboard the Enterprise could still happen. Now, during promotion for Disney's Wish, Chris Pine was asked point blank about the status of Star Trek IV, and his response might shock you. "Not that I know of," Pine told comicbook.com when quizzed about plans for a fourth installment. When we asked if he had seen any scripts, he said, "Of course not." Pine told Comic Book about any development on the fourth Trek film. So it looks like the USS Enterprise could remain docked for the foreseeable future. Pine's comments throw cold water on recent optimism from the former director and Zachary Quinto about the sequel potentially moving forward. Now, while Paramount still wants to polish the script, Pine's blunt admission suggests that filming won't be warping onto set anytime soon. We'll have to wait and see if his co-stars have some more hopeful takes. Now, you don't want to miss if Captain Kirk and Spock reunite for one last adventure, so stay tuned, as this journey is still far from over. Star Trek IV cast. Who is going to be in Star Trek IV? So you won't believe the behind-the-scenes drama surrounding the upcoming new Star Trek movie. This exciting sequel has had more twists and turns than a roller coaster ride through space. But keep watching because we are about to boldly go through everything we know about Star Trek 4 so far. Set phasers to fun. First up, who is actually coming back for this sci-fi sequel? When producer J.J. Abrams first announced plans to revive the franchise, he said the whole original cast would return. However, plot twist, none of the actors had actually signed on yet. Chris Pine's reaction says it all. Did you hear about this? He and the rest of the crew are always the last to know. While they're all excited to come back, Carl Urban admits, "I've been hearing that for the last 3 years. As of right now, the actors are still waiting for an actual script to land in their laps." But don't warp away just yet. Urban confirms 100% that we all want to come back and do it. And Sofia Boutella, who played Jayla, would do it in a heartbeat. Her character honestly deserves more screen time. There is only one holdout. Zachary Quinto seems pretty meh about the whole thing. He's tired of getting excited over rumors. There's nothing about a Star Trek movie that feels real right now. So can Paramount get this sequel off the ground? Or will Star Trek 4 forever remain docked in space? Stay tuned, Trekkies. It's sure to be a fascinating mission to engineering this next generation. We'll keep watching for more updates from Deep Space Nine, so don't blink. You don't want to miss what happens next with the continuing voyages of Captain Kirk and the crew. Plot of the highly anticipated Star Trek 4. Set your phasers to stun because the plot for Star Trek 4 is still very hush-hush. You won't believe the surprises this next installment might have in store. While concrete story details remain under wraps, the ending of 2016's Star Trek Beyond provides some clues about where the Enterprise crew could boldly go next. As a quick catch-up, if you missed the last flick, the third film ended with Captain Kirk turning down a promotion to Vice Admiral. Plot twist. He decides his place is on the bridge of the USS Enterprise with his trusted first officer, Mr. Spock, likewise opting to remain in Starfleet. After their previous ship met an untimely demise, cue the dramatic music, the movie closes with the iconic duo ready to embark on new adventures aboard a gleaming new Enterprise. So buckle up, because with a clean slate like that, Star Trek 4 could literally go anywhere. While producer J.J. Abrams and director Matt Shakman are staying tight-lipped about precise story points, Chris Pine has some wise words about the tone any new Trek installment should strike. You're definitely going to want to hear this. "I've always thought that Star Trek should operate in a different zone than Marvel," Pine suggests. "It's not about competing on the same mega blockbuster level. The beauty of Trek is its appeal to fans who really love this group and their stories." Preach it, Chris. He advocates for keeping the next chapter intimate in scale, saying, "Let's make the movie for those people first. And then if it draws in a bigger audience, that's terrific." I mean, come on, can we get an amen? If it only makes $500 million, that would be a massive success. So while we wait for more concrete updates from Starfleet Command about Trek 4's trajectory, it sounds like we're in for a classic character-driven adventure with Captain Kirk and company. And that is good news for this Starship crewman. Set thrusters to maximum height, people. The next frontier of Trek cannot get here soon enough. So stay tuned. More same Trek time, same Trek channel. Star Trek 4. Will the Kelvin crew return? Well, if you're a fan of the Star Trek movies set in the alternate timeline known as the Kelvin timeline, you might be wondering, who is starring in Star Trek 4? Well, you're not alone. The answer is not as simple as you might think. In fact, it is a bit of a mystery. So you don't want to miss this, because I'm going to tell you everything we know so far about the cast of Star Trek 4. First of all, let me give you some background. The Kelvin timeline was created in 2009 when J.J. Abrams rebooted the franchise with a new cast of actors playing the iconic roles of Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and the rest of the Enterprise crew. The movie was a huge success and spawned 2 sequels, Star Trek Into Darkness in 2013 and Star Trek Beyond in 2016. The movies featured Chris Pine as Kirk, Zachary Quinto as Spock, Carl Urban as McCoy, Zoe Saldana as Uhura, Simon Pegg as Scotty, John Cho as Sulu, and Anton Yelchin as Chekhov. Now, sadly, Yelchin passed away in 2016, and his character will not be recast. So, you would think that a fourth movie would be a no-brainer, right? Well, not exactly. The production of Star Trek IV has been plagued by delays, disputes, and drama. In 2018, it was reported that Pine and Chris Hemsworth, who played Kirk's father in a cameo in the first movie, walked away from the project over salary issues. Then, in 2019, the original director, S.J. Clarkson, left the movie to helm the Game of Thrones prequel series. The movie seemed to be in limbo until February of 2022, when Abrams announced that Star Trek IV was back on track with a new director, Noah Hawley, and a new script. But here's the catch. Abrams also said that the original stars were returning, but none of them had actually signed on yet. So you won't believe what happened next, because the actors themselves were surprised by this news. Pine told Variety that he and his co-stars were the last people to find out about the movie, but they were all excited and ready for it. Urban echoed his sentiments, saying that he had been hearing about the movie for years, but he knew nothing for sure. He said they all wanted to come back, but it was all just a matter of logistics and timing. So what about the other actors? Well, Sofia Boutella, who played the badass alien Jayla in Star Trek Beyond, said that she would love to reprise her role and that she would do it in a heartbeat. But Zachary Quinto was less enthusiastic. He said that he had very little attachment to the movie and that he only got excited about things that were actually real. He said that there was nothing about Star Trek IV that felt real right now. So, there you have it. The cast of Star Trek IV is still up in the air, and we don't know if the Kelvin crew will return. You will be surprised at what happened when the movie does finally come out, because anything, well, could happen. Maybe they'll bring back Hemsworth as Kirk's dad. Maybe they'll introduce a new character. Maybe they'll do a crossover with the TV shows. Or maybe they'll do something completely different. So if you are in for more amazing Trek news, you are going to be interested to watch Star Trek Discovery Season 5 is about to change everything.